Hello one and all, Nathan here with the Minetest release video. Today we are looking at the release of Minetest 0.4.14. This released on May 15th in the year 2016. And before we even look at the changes that we have in Minetest game, I just want to delve into a few little things quick. Minetest is comprised of two separate things. So we have the engine, which allows us to do all of these different games that exist, or sub-games as we usually consider them. So there's the engine portion of it. That's kind of all the back end, all the processing of the nodes, the running of the logic and everything. And then we have the actual Minetest game itself. Now this is all of your different nodes, your textures, your sound effects. You know, you can add all your mods to your games or whatever. In this video, we're just going to be using a just pure Minetest game. We're not going to be adding any mods to it. Won't even be using unified inventory, which is kind of unusual for me, but I want to show some new changes in the Minetest game's inventory screen on Creative. Before we get to that though, let's take a quick peek at the credits tab. We have a little mention here of Real Bad Angel. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his actual name. He died March 24th, 2016 of a heart attack. So that was sad. Still is sad. He was doing a lot of graphics related stuff. I didn't know him personally, but he sure seemed to do a lot of great stuff from what I had seen. So he will definitely be missed. And then let's take a look at the settings tab. Now this is going to be different than 4.13, and I don't have a comparison to show you. Sorry. But we have this new advanced settings tab, which I don't believe was there in 4.13. And we have this whole little drop down with all sorts of our different options here. And a lot of this, there's new features in here that 4.13 didn't have. So for example, under the graphics, some stuff that Real Bad Angel had been working on. We have node highlighting here. We can do Halo, or we can do Box. Box is the standard black box drawn on it. I've been using Halo in my videos for a while, so you may have already seen this. But I'll definitely be using Halo here. We have filtering, which you can do bilinear and trilinear filter. Those will make your filters look, or your textures look smoother, which I don't like. I kind of like the textured look, or the pixely look. It looks goofy if you use these filters on it, but to each their own. Shaders, you can enable or disable them. I'm going to have them enabled. We have tone mapping, which is kind of an HDRI type thing. Bump mapping, which is by default disabled. I used it for a while, but then they took the bump maps out of Minetest game. There was big discussion on that. It's not there anymore. So it'll generate its own though if you don't have them turned on. Waving nodes, we have options for speeds, and some of the stuff existed in 4.13, but we just have a lot of different things here now. So you have all sorts of console colors, selection box colors, crosshair alphas, the mini maps, directional colored fog, ambient occlusion, inventory item animations. That's a new one. I've been using that for a while, but we'll see it again in this video. And there's just a lot of options here, a lot of new stuff that wasn't here before. I'm not going to go over everything in this video because I'm planning another video in the future to go over that. And then we have some options here as well. But like I said, I'm doing a video in the future on that. So let's jump into Minetest game and see how things have changed and evolved here. Alright, so initial impression, not too much different so far. Textures were changed to them. The grass texture on the sides here, the grass goes down further. It didn't used to go down quite so far, so that's a change. I believe the top texture was changed as well. You'll notice I have this little blue highlighter here. And now I am in Creative, which is why I'm digging so fast, but we got that little blue highlighter instead of the selection box. If you look at my hotbar at the bottom, you'll notice the cube is spinning. If I open inventory and mouse over an item, it rotates, which is kinda cool. But this is the new Creative inventory screen that is what I want to show you guys. Got a little trash box right there. We have search already just included, so if we want metal, we can search. Enter still closes it. I have no idea what I was typing there. I think my fingers were on the wrong key. Click the question mark to search. I think it's called steel. We now have steel ladders. those are new. Steel trapdoors, those are new as well. Steel signs, those are new. Flint and steel is new. I think everything else here existed before. So a steel ladder kind of needs a wall to be placed on, I guess, so you can see it. Steel ladder just won't burn. That was pretty much like the one difference as to why we needed it. And it looks a little more industrial than a wooden ladder. I mean, let's face it, if you're building something that's supposed to look industrial, it's kind of non-industrial looking to use wooden ladders. I mean, do you agree or not? I would think that steel looks way more industrial than wood. Steel trapdoors, these will be lockable, or are lockable, so only the placer can open them, which is handy. We already had doors that functioned that way, so it seems only fitting to have trapdoors that work that way. We have the steel signs, which are, I believe, locked just by default, so only the placer can do anything on them. Doesn't say it's owned by a single player. We have flint and steel, which I've actually never used yet. I have to find some wood, or suppose we could just search for some wood. It would seem as if flint and steel would light wood, but I don't know. I know it'll do TNT. Whoa. Yeah, we got fire. And it burnt away. Alright, and because I just mentioned TNT, and I have actually not yet played with this, and I'm pretty sure this did get merged, but you know, I'm not really 100% sure. I have the changelog open on my laptop, and I'm not looking at it. I was like, well, let me get the changelog open here, because I'm going to want to know. Maybe flint and steel doesn't work to light that. You know, I was like, let me open the changelog, because I'm going to want to know what changes there were, so I can mention them all. And I haven't yet looked at them. So, something just went flying past my head. That was kind of crazy. I took some damage too. It's a nice little hole here. Let's go ahead and fill some more TNT down here. Now, TNT is vastly different than it used to be in the past. You wouldn't get nodes dropping like that, or nodes flying through the air that would become pick-upable later. This is potentially going to be pretty hard on my desktop. I don't know. I probably will also die when we do this, so let me figure out a quick egress. That was a horrible way to go. Dead. Okay, well I think, you know, I don't know where that was. Let me turn on the mini-map. Mini-map is also new. F9 toggles it on. Shift and F9. Okay, I was going to say, I thought it was Shift and F9 would give you a square. There we go. A square mini-map. On the square version, you get a red arrow in the center that points to the direction you are walking. And if I use... I definitely want to go this way. No, that wouldn't make sense. And if I use the circle minimap, you have a little gray arrow that points to the direction you're walking. Minimap has been in dev for a while, but was not part of the official 4.13 release. I really wish I knew where I had blown that hole, so I'm just going to go ahead and grant myself everything so I can fly. Let me figure out where I blew that hole. Okay, I put some steel ladders up. Why do the steel ladders not exist on that mountain right there? Did I spawn someplace that far away from my first spawn? That's dumb. Okay, well, doesn't look like... Okay, yeah, it doesn't give me anything there. That was F10, by the way. F10 on the keyboard will pull up full screen chat. It is scrollable, but I do not have enough detail in there to be able to scroll. Because I haven't... What is this? Because I haven't put anything in. Looks like this is sand. So let's... must be sandstone. Yep, sandstone. Some more of the textures that were changed. Sandstone changed. Sand changed up a little bit. And some of these might look very different than you are used to. But again, I am using shaders, which does make some of your colors appear a little bit different than otherwise. Alright, I'm pretty sure I lost wherever I was, where I blew that hole up. So, we're not going to look at the damage I caused when I did that. Man, I might have to do it again. We have some colored haze. This is also new. You'll notice how it's kind of a yellowish color there, bluish color there from the moonlight. The world kind of has a yellow lighting to it. And what is this over here? Looks like a dungeon. A dungeon indeed. Okay, well, because it's too hard to see at the night, let's change the time to 6 a.m. and look at the new aspen trees that were added to Minetest game. They have a white bark. Actually, those are the ones that I put out originally when I started it on fire. A nice light colored wood. Contrasts nicely with, say, jungle wood or the acacia wood. We also have logs that will just spawn in forest laying on their sides. Mushrooms can grow on those. Mushrooms can also grow on just the normal grass. Let me actually consult the changelog here, so I can see some of these changes that maybe I am forgetting about. Let's see here. There's a new 3D mode of page flip. I did one video once in 3D. That was the anaglyph 3D with the 2 different colors. You have to wear those colored glasses. And I don't know. I guess I just wasn't into the whole 3D thing quite enough. Probably because I have a lazy eye, so the 3D didn't really work as well as it should have for me. I'd have to try to wear the colored glasses under my prescription lenses, and I just didn't want to try to mess around with that, so I didn't bother. You know what I'm gonna do? So I just want to blow stuff up. And now that I have fly and fast on, I should be safe. So here we have that dynamite, smoke going everywhere, material sitting on the ground, and let's put out a big block. Now, so far did some changes on this. Did a lot of changes, actually. So the explosions are now, there's some kind of a mathematic formula, and I guess from what I was hearing in his video where he was talking about it, it calculates the volume of the TNT before it actually blows it up, and then it just uses that as a multiplier. So it's only a single explosion at a stronger force versus the older system where it was done as multiple explosions, which would create just a ton of lag. And now that was pretty much lag free, and that blew up a huge crater here. Threw blocks all over the place. I mean, I got some cobble sitting way out here that blew up from this hole. So definitely blows things up pretty quickly. Looks like the iron texture may have changed a little bit. Looks a little more orange there than it used to. I remember it being a little more red color. So that's the TNT. Now back to the Valley's map gen was added in to Core, so that is now in the engine. I have played some games with the Valley map gen. Actually, my Let's Play Survive, which is my sub game, uses the Valley's map gen as the, obviously, map gen for it. So if you've watched any of those videos, you are familiar with the Valley's map gen and how it creates some pretty nice stuff. Node boxes have the ability to connect. So let me pull up some fences here, and let's take a look at those. We're going to want, well, it doesn't really matter what I use. We'll just take pine fence, gate, and some pine fence itself, and I have some aspen wood planks here already. So let me just throw a plank out and some fence pieces. And then let's throw another chunk of wood there. And you know what, let's put this little gate in. For a long time, people have wanted gates, myself included. And we finally have them, and I couldn't be happier. It's actually a lie. I could be. Because if you place just a single gate and open it, you get this funny little centerpiece. And then if you place another gate right here and open it, you can walk through that centerpiece. So a mob can walk through it just fine. You know, you can herd your cattle in. But it just looks kind of silly. I understand why it was done though, because if you're putting 2 chunks of wood on the sides here, it would look silly to have a gate that opens without there being another gate post or 3 pieces of stone. But the fences now connect to wood. But if you put a fence out by, oh, say dirt, I don't know, it doesn't connect. It also will not connect to stone. Let me just run to the stone real quick. And throw a fence piece in. It's not connect to the stone. Those were some of the new node box changes. I believe glass was also updated to use that, or if it's not yet, it will be shortly. Yeah, it looks like it has been. Yeah, this has definitely been updated. So it's using, there's some new connect method. I don't know what the method is or the callback is to use it, but that was changed, so glass will connect. So basically you could have 2 pieces of glass here, put one in the center, and they will connect, and then you can throw, oh wait a minute, okay, so it doesn't quite work perfectly yet, but it works better than it used to. They've been changed to node boxes instead of glass-like or whatever they used to be, so they connect a little bit better on like corners and stuff. So it works better. It's a little more efficient, a little faster for the engine. We have an option to disable selection boxes on entities. So, for example, and I'm not turning it off because I'd have to go into the settings, and I actually don't know where that setting is. But this is an entity right here, this piece of dirt that is spinning around. There's an option so we could have this blue hovering box not exist. It would exist on the ground when I'm highlighting that, but it would not exist for this entity. Also for other players and for mobs, it wouldn't exist. There was some talk about making it selectable for different types in like the node registration. I don't know if that went anywhere. I haven't seen anything recently on it. There is a clear objects quick command, which clear objects will basically clear objects. Plain and simple is what it does. So here we have some objects sitting on the ground down here, i.e. the cobble, the stone, the sand. So if we do clear, where did I just see this in the changelog? Clear objects quick, it made them go away. And I guess that's a quicker version than the old method, which I'd have to imagine is slow. What actually changed there, I don't know. All I can tell you is it's quicker, I'm assuming. I really don't know. We have some bug fixes here. I've never experienced this, but some people had this glitch where when you were holding something in your hand, or if you weren't holding something in your hand, instead of having a hand that looks smooth like mine does here, the whole texture of it would be like full of these little, it looked like it was run through a waffle press a whole bunch. It was all bumpy and it just looked really weird. I never experienced it, so I'm assuming it was a graphics driver issue type thing that only some drivers had, and mine didn't. But that was changed. I'm just looking through the changelog here. I will link to the changelog for sure in the description because there's a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of new stuff happened with the modding API. So we now have a get biome ID callback, or not a callback, but a, I guess it is a callback. So basically, I guess, I've never used it, but you could determine what biome a node is in, and then you could do something based on that. So for example, maybe you only want to have a certain type of animal spawn in a certain biome. You could do, get biome ID and find out what biome that is, and then if it's a certain biome, spawn your animal, and if it's not, do nothing. Craft replacements to use groups. I don't, because I'm still searching, that's why. I don't think there's really a way for me to demonstrate that because I don't have that type of a look here. But basically, in a group, when there's a replacement, it can give back something from the group, and I'm assuming it would give back the same thing that you placed. So, say it says group wood, and you're giving back a piece of wood after the craft, it would give back that piece instead of having to register a different recipe for every single option that you could use. We also now have stone. Oh, that was uncool. Who dug this big hole? 'Cause I didn't. We have these new stone walls that connect to stone. And I can put stone there, and it will automatically connect to it. But if I place, I don't know, sandstone shouldn't. Dirt might. I'm not positive. Let's find out here. Sandstone, nope. Dirt, nope. Wood, nope. Other pieces of fence, for sure. Alright, I guess it's not really a fence, it's a wall. And we have it in cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and desert cobble, I believe was the other one. Just pass it up. Yeah, desert cobblestone. So those three will all connect to anything in the... It's all done by the groups. I believe stone is in group cracky. So these will connect to any node that has the group cracky definition. Which wood doesn't. Wood has, I want to say choppy, dirt has crumbly, sand has crumbly, stone doesn't. Stone is different. Okay. Let's see, what else? We had some map gen changes, blob ore changes. There's a new 4D fractal map gen. Some other map gen changes that I can't really show you because, again, these are modding things, and I'd have to write up a mod to showcase this stuff. I don't really have time for that. There were some cleanups to the threading. And now before you think threading, I didn't even know there was sewing. We're not talking about threading needles. We're talking about threading on the processor. So, let me find a quick, good spot to do this without dying, hopefully, as I'm not falling in. Perfect. Alright, so we have someplace dark, so we can easily see all of the information here. So we have the main loop sleep, main loop other, main loop dtime, main loop draw, and the client receives packets. And then I don't know what those top three things are. Packets lost, and jitter, and RTT, and num processed meshes. I really don't know what all that stuff means. Basically, though, like you're seeing on the orange one, there's really no way for... I can point to it. Whoa. So, this is pretty much a graph of how your computer is processing everything. So, like, the drawing portion of it is taking 0.016, 0.018 right now. That's how much time, and I'm assuming this is in fractions of a second, of course, how much time is being taken to draw what you're seeing on the screen. D time is stuff that's processing, ABMs running, things like that. And don't quote me on any of this, I'm not actually entirely positive. But basically, the lower these things are seeing and the fewer spikes they're seeing, the more efficiently it's running, the less processing power you're utilizing. Like right now on my desktop here, Minetest is running at 5% CPU utilization. My screen recording software is running at 10%. So take it or leave it, whichever way. Those things being lower is better, because that means your computer is working less, which means you will have smoother playback. Right now I'm getting 39 frames a second. My goal is set to 40 frames a second. I record at 30, so there's no point in having it run faster than honestly even 30, because you're not going to notice the difference. Potentially I could make it do 60, but I don't know if my screen recording software will record at 60, and honestly I don't get the point. I don't see a difference between 60 and 30. It just means the file's twice as large. It's not worth it to me. So if you feel otherwise, feel free to comment below and we can have a polite discussion about it. But that's my opinion. TNT Changes. There's a new TNT API, which I was already demonstrating, but that is now a global API. So you can write your own mod that uses explosions, and instead of using TNT, you could use dynamite or C4, or I'm assuming C9's an explosive as well. Whatever you want to do, invent something of your very own. Make it super expensive to craft, and you can just use the dynamite API, and you don't have to rewrite a bunch of code to make an explosion. You can just use all of the global functions that the TNT API now has. Mods can create doors that are feature-rich. Unfortunately, the changelog doesn't really tell me what that means. So I'm not entirely positive what we mean by feature-rich doors. I mean, we still have our standard. The steel door, the wooden door, obsidian door, and the glass door. Nothing changed there. Still the standard open and close. I know somebody, I believe 10+1, I think he was one, yeah, not in here. He was trying to do a key, so you can use keys to open doors and lock doors, and then you can share the keys with other players, and then they can open and close your doors, but they still can't break the blocks if they're in protected areas. I think, yeah, doors are now supposed to automatically always line up. Unless you do that, and then it doesn't know where it's trying to line up to. And I just placed a door inside of a door. I don't even know how I did that. And I made the other door disappear, I guess. So yeah, so you have two, and they both open the same direction. But if I put a door there, and I put one here... Oh wait, I have to dig this one first. And then put one here. And now they open, so you get a double wide door. Pretty snazzy. And then we'll just throw some sand there. And some sand there. And there's really no point to be throwing all the sand around, but why not? Let's see, the fence wall and the gate all have their own API now. So if you make your own mod and you add a new wood type or a stone type, you can easily have fences and gates and walls in those materials generated without having to rewrite all the code. You just pull off the hooks from the APIs and everything. I'm trying to talk like I know what I'm talking about, but I've never done anything where I'm pulling off of hooks and global callbacks and stuff. I'm sure it's not difficult, I just haven't done it. Yes, the interface changes. The new creative inventory menu. I suppose I really should go over this. So we have the crafting screen, obviously. We have a screen here that shows you every single node that is available, which is 11 pages and defaults. Then we have one that's nodes. These will be, well, nodes, things that you can actually place in world. 8 pages full of those. We have tools. These are going to be your tools. I feel like this is stupid to be explaining that tools are tools. And then we have the items. And yes, these are going to be your items. They're not nodes. Nodes would be something that's a full block. These are not full blocks. These are things, some can be placed. The book cannot. A book can be written in though. So we can do like, totally cool book. I don't know why I wrote box. I wanted book. Then we can say, this book is totally cool. And I meant to do exclamation points. And we can save it. And then we can put the book into a bookshelf or a chest, neither of which do I have on me at the moment, but we could place them in there and then you would see that. It also says it's a book with text. I was reading we can duplicate the book with text. So now I should be able to... I don't remember which was my original book. Should be able to open it and see this book is totally cool on both. So if you want to give a bunch of people the same information in a book form, you can now very easily do that instead of having to type it out a whole bunch. We already kind of mentioned some of the new textures. There are other textures that I didn't mention, but there were multiples added, and I don't know what I'm doing here. Free move enabled, fast move. Okay, we have water. We have new water textures. Slightly more transparent, and some new water post-processing effects. Supposed to look more blue when you're underwater, I guess? I don't know. But that was changed. Flowers will grow in more areas, so maybe they won't be quite so hard to find anymore, as can grass. I forgot to mention. Doors are now one single item. In previous versions of Minetest, a door was actually two different nodes. There was the lower half and the upper half. Now you could only place one, both like didn't exist as nodes, so you could place an upper half or a lower half. You could only place one, it would automatically place the other. Those were replaced with mesh doors now. So this door, I am not doing good here. Let me turn off fast and free. This door is one mesh unit. So it's a little less processing because we're not, when one opens or closes, telling the other one to do the same. When it's being dug, we're not telling the other one to be destroyed. And when it's placed, we're not telling the other one to exist. So it's a little more efficient that way, and you still can't, you know, like, place a node into the space of the top of the door. See, you can't place something where the door exists. So it's not like you can get some bug and work around it. We mentioned the fallen logs. I showed you the aspen trees and the new aspen wood. The books were changed more so than I showed with just copying. You now get word wrap. So if I go here and just start typing a bunch of garbledygook, it automatically word wraps to the next line. It does all that good stuff. It supports multiple pages, but man, I would have to type so much to get and I didn't quick save. Anyways, I'd have to type so much to get multiple effects that it's not worth it. You know what? We need to get some cobble here. So I showed you the mossy cobble wall, but I forgot to mention how you get mossy cobble in the first place. Okay, so I got some, I believe stone block will do it as well. It may not, so I'm going to grab some cobble too, but let me run to the water first. Okay, so we got a piece of stone sitting in the water there. Let's just get some cobble. I don't know how fast this actually runs. So yeah, we might be here for a minute looking at this stuff, but that's okay. I mean, it's not like you had anything better to do with your time anyways. So pretty much cobble that is next to water will turn into mossy cobble at some point. So we'll just stand here and watch this. Stand here and watch this, just like so. Let's see, the permanent flame node and the flint and steel, which I already showed you. Flint and steel is made with a piece of flint and a steel ingot, oddly enough. You can use it to light flammable things on fire, such as wood, as I did previously. Evidently does not work for TNT. I think that's planned, though, but doesn't work right now. We have the stone walls, we have the gates. Oh, boats, I guess, are a little faster. So let's grab a boat. It's an item, right? Yeah. Let's grab a boat. I don't know exactly what to mean by faster. Like, it runs better? Or it can sail faster? Yeah, it does feel a little faster. I guess it feels more responsive as well. I feel like it turns better and does a better job at sailing than the old boat used to. The entire boat model was actually redone by So Far. No longer is it quite as many nodes as it had been. In the past, it was... He recorded a video of his remaking of it, and it was a nightmare of a piece of mesh. It was horribly, horribly made. Tons of triangles, way too many faces that it didn't need. He optimized it so the boat model is now a much smaller file and much easier for the engine to process. So you probably see some gains when you're sailing on the boat just because there's a new boat model that is way more efficient. This still hasn't turned into Cabo, but it does at some point. It just doesn't really want to. Doesn't really want to do it. Okay, now I'm confused. I see here in the other miscellaneous, add the player name to dropped items. I dropped a boat. It doesn't say anything. I don't know what that means. Like if there were multiple people, would it say something different? Interesting, very interesting. I'm not really sure. Another thing, which I can't really demonstrate at the moment too well, but on the mini-map, when you are on a server, you will get little red dots for other players, and I think actually you get red dots for animals as well, but I could be wrong on that. I know for players, for sure, you will get red dots on the mini-map in the corner there, showing you where other players are located. And everybody gets a red dot, whether an admin or just a normal person. It really doesn't change. Some changes were made for the Android build, which is not yet released. There's still some bugs that they're working on fixing. But definitely a lot of changes there to be excited about when it does release. And I think that's probably it to show you in here. So let's go ahead and exit to menu and look at one other thing that I forgot about, the server list, which would actually be your client, which would be servers listed here. This is a new feature, 2.4.14, as is everything in this video, so I don't know why I even bothered saying that, but you will get these little yellow stars that say it's a favorite when it's a server that you have played on. So this server here, as any geeky person is going to realize, 192.168.1.191, is actually my laptop. I just use that for some testing stuff. And then we have other servers. We have Pixel Shadow, we have another Pixel Shadow, another Pixel Shadow, another Pixel Shadow, and LinuxGaming2.com. Those are the servers I have played on. The rest of this lovely, lovely list, I have never joined any of the servers. Now, in the event, these will always be at the top, so it's nice because you can say, I want to play on this server, it'll be at the top for me, so it's always easy to find. But say I decide I don't want to play on creative anymore because I just don't like that there's no challenge. I can just hit delete favorite. Boop. Star goes away, disappears. Now, it doesn't actually disappear. It just goes into the list down here, and if I look through this, it'll be here someplace. I honestly don't know exactly how this is all organized, but there we go. Here it is. It's there. It hasn't disappeared on me. So that is that, and I believe that's about it. We have just a list of all your contributors and everything on there. Mods, nothing really changed on this tab. It's still all the same. People don't put pictures in. Texture packs really hasn't changed. I guess I don't even have any on my desktop. Settings, I'm doing a video on that later. Services for setting up a server. I've never done that, so I don't really know, other than just a local. And then we have creative and enable damage. So that is what's up, guys. Nothing changed here at all. Exact same as it used to be. Very nice. So download link will be in the description. Make sure if you are running 0.4.13 or 0.4.12 or, and it hurts me a little bit to say this, if you're running 0.4.9, please upgrade today, because that is a super old version. Super old. I'm surprised you're still using it. It's so old. But I think that's actually the version that is in the official repositories for Ubuntu and Linux Mint and pretty much any Ubuntu derivative, which is it's mind-boggling how that old of a version can still be the official one in the repositories on Linux. Like, what? Why? Thanks for watching my video. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, would you consider giving it a thumbs up? I appreciate all those I can get. I'm on social media, peoples. Follow me. Google+, Twitter, Facebook. I always post all of my videos on those platforms, or links to my videos on those platforms, as soon as they go live. Which this means prior to the release on YouTube. You can watch them before anybody else. You can also visit my website, nathansalpat.com, and see all my videos there. A really nice website, if I do say so myself. I did design it, so I might be a little bit biased, but I still think it's decent. If there is a mod you would like me to review, just click on the Request a Review button right there. Takes you to a form on my website. You just type in the information, hit the Submit button. I get it, look at it, record a review, post it online. You watch. We all profit. The world's a better place. Yeah, I don't know about that last bit, but hey, do it anyways. You got nothing to lose. I'll catch you next time.